A retired teacher in North Carolina named Diane was 65 years old when her younger sister sat her down at the kitchen table and asked her one question. Diane had taught fourth grade in a public school outside Charlotte for 31 years. She had been divorced from her husband Robert since 1998, a quiet ending to a 26-year marriage. She had never remarried. She had filed for her own Social Security retirement benefit at age 62, taking a permanently reduced monthly check of $750 based on her teacher's earnings record, which had always been modest because the local school district participated in a state pension plan that took the place of part of her Social Security contributions for many of her working years. Her sister, who worked part-time at a senior center, had heard a presentation that morning from a Social Security claiming specialist. She came home, called Diane, and asked her this. She said, "Did anyone ever tell you that you could file on Robert's record?" Diane said no, and her sister said, "You need to call." Diane called the Social Security Administration the next morning. The representative pulled up her file. Robert, it turned out, had retired from a senior engineering position at a manufacturing firm, and his full retirement age benefit on his own record was $3,200 a month. Half of that, $1,600, was the spousal benefit Diane had been entitled to claim since the day she turned 62. She had been collecting $750 a month for 6 years, when she should have been collecting $1,600. The difference, $850 a month, multiplied by 72 months, was $61,200 she had already lost and could not recover. Robert, by the way, had remarried in 2004. His current wife was collecting her own spousal benefit on his record, and her check was not reduced by 1 penny because of what Diane was now about to claim. Robert never knew Diane had filed. Robert was never going to know. And the mistake Diane made, the silent assumption that divorce ended her connection to Robert's earnings record forever, is the exact same mistake hundreds of thousands of divorced women in this country are making right now. Here is what happened, and here is exactly how you make sure it never happens to you or to anyone in your family. This video is for educational purposes only and is not tax or financial advice. Consult a qualified professional before making any decisions about your specific situation. My name is Paul Merrick, and this is Don't Die Broke. I spent more than 20 years as a certified financial planner, watching good people make avoidable mistakes that cost them everything they worked for. Every week on this channel, I break down the tax rules, the financial traps, and the strategies that protect retirees from the things nobody else is explaining. If that sounds like something you need, hit the subscribe button right now and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Let me explain the rule that Diane did not understand, because once you see how it works, you will understand why it has been called the best-kept secret in retirement planning. The Social Security Administration allows a divorced person to claim a spousal benefit on the earnings record of an ex-spouse if 4 conditions are met. Number 1, the marriage lasted at least 10 years from the date of the wedding to the date the divorce became final. Not 9 years and 11 months, 10 full years. Number 2, you, the claimant, are currently unmarried. If you remarried at any point and that subsequent marriage is still in effect, you cannot claim on the first ex-spouse. If the subsequent marriage ended in death or divorce or annulment, your eligibility on the first ex-spouse comes back. Number 3, you, the claimant, are 62 years old or older. Number 4, the spousal benefit you would receive on the ex-spouse's record is greater than the retirement benefit you would receive on your own record. Now here is the part that almost nobody knows. The ex-spouse does not need to have filed for his own benefits yet. He does not even need to know that you are filing. He does not need to consent. His current wife, if he has one, is not affected. Her benefit is not reduced. Their household income is not touched. The Social Security Administration treats your claim on his record as completely independent. They do not call him. They do not write to him. They do not notify him in any way. He will never see a line item on a tax return. He will never see a notice in the mail. He will never know. Here is the rule that makes this work even when he is still on the job. There is something called the independently entitled divorced spouse rule. Under this rule, if you have been divorced from your ex-spouse for at least 2 continuous years, you can file for the spousal benefit on his record even if he is still working full-time and has not yet filed for his own retirement benefit. Without this 2-year rule, you would be forced to wait until he chose to retire and file, which could be never. The 2-year independently entitled rule was put in place specifically so that ex-spouses could not effectively veto each other's benefits by refusing to file. Most divorced people I have talked to in 22 years of planning have never heard of it. Let me put numbers on this so you understand the stakes. Scenario 1. Diane in North Carolina, the retired teacher. Her own Social Security retirement benefit, taken at age 62, was $750 a month. Robert's full retirement age benefit was $3,200 a month. Half of that, $1,600, is the spousal benefit Diane was entitled to file for at her own full retirement age. Now here is a critical detail. Because Diane filed on her own record at age 62, she took an early claim reduction on her own benefit. The spousal benefit calculation is also affected by the age at which she files for it. If she files for the spousal portion at her full retirement age of 66 and 4 months, the spousal top-up payment is calculated as the difference between her full unreduced spousal entitlement, which is $1,600, and her full unreduced own benefit, which is roughly $950 before her early claim reduction. The Social Security Administration adds that difference, $650, on top of her existing $750 check. So her new monthly payment becomes $1,400 instead of $1,600 because of the early claim reduction she locked in on her own record at 62. That is still $650 additional dollars a month for the rest of her life. Over a normal female life expectancy from 65 to 86, that is an additional $163,000 Diane will now collect that she would have left on the table. Scenario 2. A woman in Arizona named Patricia, age 64, married for 12 years to a successful orthodontist in Phoenix, divorced in 2001, never remarried. Her own Social Security benefit at full retirement age would be $2,100 a month. Her ex-husband Mark's full retirement age benefit was $3,600 a month, making the spousal benefit available to Patricia $1,800 at her full retirement age. Now here is where the rule shuts the door. $1,800, the spousal benefit, is less than $2,100, her own benefit. The Social Security Administration pays her the higher of the two, which is her own benefit, and adds 0 on top. Patricia gets nothing extra from filing on Mark's record. The divorced spouse benefit only helps you when the spousal calculation produces a number larger than your own retirement calculation. For couples where both partners earned similar income, the divorced spouse benefit often produces no additional payment. This is the most common reason the rule disappoints people. It is not a windfall. It is a top-up that only matters when the income gap between you and your ex was significant. Scenario 3. A woman in Michigan named Joyce, age 63. Married for 14 years to an automotive executive, divorced in 2010, never remarried. Joyce had worked part-time during the marriage, raising 3 children, then went back to full-time work for 15 years after the divorce in retail management. Her own Social Security benefit at 62 would have been roughly $900 a month. Her ex-husband Daniel's full retirement age benefit is now $4,100 a month. He retired 3 years ago and is collecting his own benefit. Half of $4,100 is $2,050, the spousal benefit available to Joyce at her full retirement age of 66 and 8 months. Joyce had not filed for any benefit yet at 63 because she was still working part-time. She came in to see a Social Security claiming specialist and ran the numbers. Filing on Daniel's record at her full retirement age gives her a check of $2,050 a month. Filing on her own record at full retirement age gives her a check of $1,200. Filing on her own record at age 70 with delayed retirement credits gives her a check of $1,585. The right strategy for Joyce is to wait until full retirement age, file the divorced spouse claim on Daniel's record at $2,050 a month, and never file on her own record at all. Daniel does not know. Daniel's current wife, Susan, also collecting on Daniel's record, sees no change. Daniel's tax return is unaffected. Daniel's relationship with Susan is unaffected. The agency simply pays Joyce out of the trust fund. Now here is where it gets critical. There is a trap inside the divorced spouse benefit that catches widows of divorced ex-spouses, and almost nobody talks about this. If your divorced ex-spouse dies and you were married for at least 10 years and are currently unmarried, you become eligible for a divorced survivor benefit, which is calculated very differently from the divorced spouse benefit. The divorced survivor benefit can be up to 100% of the deceased ex-spouse's full retirement age benefit, not 50%. Same 10-year marriage rule, same currently unmarried rule, but now the math doubles. Here is the part that changes everything. The remarriage rule for divorced survivor benefits is the same as for widow survivor benefits. If you remarried after age 60, your eligibility on the deceased ex-spouse's record is preserved. So, a 63-year-old divorced woman who remarried at 61 can still claim a divorced survivor benefit on her first husband when he later dies, even though she is happily married to her second husband at the time. She does not lose the benefit. The Social Security Administration does not care. Scenario 4, briefly. A woman in Oregon named Catherine, age 68, married for 11 years to a retired commercial pilot named Edward, divorced in 1995, never remarried. Edward died in 2023. Catherine had been collecting her own modest Social Security benefit of $1,100 a month for the last 6 years. Edward's full retirement age benefit at the time of his death was $3,800 a month. Catherine, as a divorced surviving spouse, is now entitled to file for the divorced survivor benefit, which is the full $3,800 at her full retirement age, reduced by the difference between full retirement age and her current age claim. She had been collecting $1,100 when she should have been collecting roughly $3,600. $2,500 a month, every month, for 6 years. $300,000 she did not know was sitting on the table. Here is your action checklist, and I want you to take this seriously because the Social Security Administration will not call you. Number 1, if you were married to someone for at least 10 years and you are currently unmarried, request a benefit estimate on your own record and request the rules under which you can file on a former spouse's record. You can do this at ssa.gov by creating a My Social Security account or by calling 800-772-1213. Number 2, if you do not know your former spouse's earnings history, the Social Security Administration can pull it for you when you file. You only need basic information: his Social Security number if you have it, his date of birth, and the dates of your marriage and divorce. If you do not have his Social Security number, the agency can locate the record using his name, date of birth, and the names of his parents. Number 3, find your marriage certificate and your divorce decree. The Social Security Administration will require both. If you cannot find the marriage certificate, request a certified copy from the county or state where the wedding took place. If you cannot find the divorce decree, request a certified copy from the court that issued it. These requests take 6 to 8 weeks. Start early. Number 4, if you have been divorced for at least 2 years and your ex-spouse has not yet filed for his retirement benefit, you can still file on his record under the independently entitled divorced spouse rule. Tell the claims representative that phrase specifically. Number 5, run the math on 3 filing scenarios: your own benefit at full retirement age, the divorced spouse benefit on your ex's record, your own benefit at age 70 with delayed retirement credits. Pick the path that gives you the largest lifetime expected payment based on your health and family longevity. Number 6, if your ex-spouse has died, file for the divorced survivor benefit, which is calculated very differently and is much larger than the divorced spouse benefit. The form is the same Social Security application, Form SSA 2-, for divorced widows. Number 7, if you remarried after age 60, your divorced survivor eligibility is preserved. Most claims representatives will not raise this with you. You have to ask. Number 8, if you have multiple former spouses, each lasting 10 or more years, you can file on the record that pays the highest benefit. The Social Security Administration will not volunteer this either. Run all of them. Number 9, if you have already been collecting your own reduced benefit for years, like Diane, you can still file a spousal top-up application now. You cannot recover the past payments you missed, but you can stop the bleeding going forward. Do it this week. Same teacher, same earnings record, same ex-husband, 3 states away, who has no idea. Diane in North Carolina collected $750 a month for 6 years and missed $61,200 she could have had. Patricia in Arizona ran the numbers and found out the rule did not help her because her own benefit was higher. Joyce in Michigan ran the numbers and found out it would put $850 additional in her account every month for the rest of her life. Catherine in Oregon ran the numbers after her ex-husband died and found $300,000 sitting on the table. The difference between these outcomes is not luck. It is not a loophole. It is Section 202 of the Social Security Act, and it has been on the books since 1965. 60 years it has been law. Most claims representatives have to be reminded it exists. Most divorced women in this country have no idea it applies to them. This is how people die broke. Not from a stock market crash, not from medical bills, from not knowing about a benefit that was theirs by federal law for 60 years. This is Paul Merrick, and this has been Don't Die Broke. If this video helped you, hit the like button right now. It takes 1 second, and it helps this video reach more retirees who need to hear it. If you are not subscribed yet, hit subscribe and turn on the bell so you do not miss the next one. If you know a divorced woman in her 60s who has never remarried and was married for at least 10 years, send her this video today. It could be worth 6 figures to her over the rest of her life. And drop me a comment and tell me this. Were you ever told by a Social Security representative, a financial advisor, or a divorce attorney that you could claim on an ex-spouse's record? Yes or no? I read every single one, and the most common questions become future videos. I will see you in the next.